the anti-malware function in Apple's Snow Leopard works. Austin, Texas, since Antigo posted an article about Apple's new anti-malware function in Snow Leopard, a number of sources have written about how this works. We have provided a comparison of Apple's anti-malware function and Virus Barrier X5, outlining some of the features that are present or missing in Apple's function. But now we'd like to look at this function in more detail, and describe exactly how it works, and what it does, and doesn't, do to protect Macs from malware. Summary: Apple has added an anti-malware function to Mac OS X 10.6, Snow Leopard. This function only scans for malware in files downloaded with certain applications. Apple's anti-malware function doesn't scan for malware when files are copied in the Finder, from CDs, DVDs, USB thumb drives or network volumes. Apple's anti-malware function currently only scans for 2 Trojan horses. Apple does not detect all variants of the most common Trojan horse. Apple's anti-malware function doesn't scan media package MPKG installer packages. Apple's anti-malware function does not repair infected files or infected Macs. Apple's anti-malware function in Snow Leopard does not offer Mac users serious protection from viruses and malware. A number of websites have called this function's protect, based on the name of a file that contains information necessary to this function's operation. Apple has not given this function any official name, so we'll just stick with the banal Apple's anti-malware function. This protect file, called protect list, is found in /system library core services core types bundle contents resources /. This is a more or less hidden location. It's inside core types bundle, which is a bundle containing mostly icons. But there's also another file in this bundle that interests us. It's called exceptions list, and it contains a list of programs that are affected by Apple's anti-malware function. We'll look closely at the contents of both of these files below. So, how does this function work? Apple has been using a quarantine function for quite some time in Safari, Mail and iChat. This function spots when files are downloaded, received as attachments to email messages, or received during chats, and sets an extended attribute data not visible to users on such files containing information about when a file was downloaded and with which application. Here's what one extended attribute looks like for a disk image we downloaded with Safari, Apple Quarantine, 0000. 409 BC 528. Safari app. 2E402BO848B4EOC B51B47DE7BDO361 Apple Safari. Note that this extended attribute is added to all files received in the above manner, but the quarantine function only looks at certain file types, mainly executable files, applications or scripts, and installer packages. After mounting the disk image, if you double-click an executable file or installer package inside the disk image, the quarantine function spots the extended attribute and the system pops up a warning. This will also occur if you download an executable or installer package in an archive. After extracting the executable, and double-clicking it, you'll see the above warning. With malware, Apple's new function piggybacks on this quarantine system to scan the file for malware, and, if it finds anything, the following is displayed. What does Apple's anti-malware function scan for? Now we get to look inside this protect list file we mentioned earlier. Looking at this file with Apple's property list editor, we can see that there are a grand total of 2 types of malware listed, the RSPLUGA Trojan horse, and the iServices Trojan horse. Antigo discovered the former in October 2007 and the latter in January of this year. There are 17 variants of the RSPLUG Trojan horse, and several variants of the iServices Trojan horse currently in the wild. One interesting question is whether Apple's anti-malware function can detect all of the existing variants of the RSPLUG Trojan horse. Antigo's virus hunters did some tests, and found that Apple can detect only 15 of the 17 variants of the RSPLUG Trojan horse. This means that 2 of them will get through Apple's net. It turns out that Snow Leopard does not detect the RSPLUGA nor the RSPLUGC variants. In addition, Apple's anti-malware function incorrectly identifies the variants it finds, since, in all cases, The alert displayed for any RSPLUG Trojan horse variant states that the RSPLUGA variant was detected. As for the iServices Trojan, things get a bit more complicated. This Trojan horse was found in pirated software distributed via BitTorrent sites. Yet Apple doesn't flag files downloaded with BitTorrent client, see below. So, unless someone were to start distributing these infected disk images of iWork 2009 and Photoshop CS3 via websites, Apple's anti-malware function will never detect any iServices Trojans. We must note a major weakness in the system. Apple's installer uses two types of installation files, package files and .mpkg files. The former are simple package files, and the latter are media package files, which contain several packages, often for installations that contain multiple elements. It turns out that, in our tests, Apple's anti-malware function does not spot malware contained in .mpkg files. We tested a number of RSPLUG Trojan horse samples in media package files, and no alerts displayed. However, some of the files contained in the media packages, when opened on their own, set off alerts. Which applications are protected? We mentioned above that there's a file called exceptions.plist that contains a list of programs that can use Apple's anti-malware function. Under Additions you can see the identifiers of the programs that Snow Leopard currently monitors for malware. There are web browsers, Internet Explorer, Firefox, OmniWeb 5, Opera, Shira, Mozilla Navigator and Camino. And email clients, Entourage, SeaMonkey and Thunderbird. In addition to these programs,